don't think that because others have gotten in before you that you're now too late to the party. I guarantee you that they don't really understand it. So your advantage right now actually is your patience. Hey everyone, so this video is going to be for the Bitcoin holder that recently bought in and doesn't really know what they're doing. They see Bitcoin going up and they wonder if they should buy more. They probably bought Bitcoin too high and they're wondering if they should sell out. So this story begins with me. Recently, I actually just completed an Olympic triathlon, so my body was very, very sore, and I actually had an expired Groupon for a massage. So I went to go get this massage, and I was talking to my masseuse, and she was telling me that she actually had bought Bitcoin, and she had no idea what she was doing because there was a language barrier issue, but also because she just doesn't really understand what Bitcoin is. Somebody told her that it was a good investment, so she bought in. But unfortunately, she bought in when Bitcoin was quite high, in the high 50s and in the lower 60s. And I personally have also bought in at that price point. I also have bought in at much cheaper, but I completely empathize with her feeling, and I know a lot of people are feeling the same way. So what do you do? What should you do? Now, this isn't really the easiest answer, but I believe this is the right answer. When it comes to investing, it really comes down to your mindset and your knowledge base, because ultimately, depending on what you're invested in, if you're invested on something that you believe in, then it doesn't really matter as much what the price point is, because as an investor and not a gambler, you are looking at the long-term prospects of a company or an investment. So even fluctuations from a Bitcoin price of 30,000 to 40,000, even though that's a huge change, that is really not much in the grand scheme of things. A lot of the Bitcoin bulls think it will be 100,000 by the end of the year. They think it will be 500,000 at the end of 5 years. And if that is what you really believe in, then what does 30 to 40,000 really matter? What does buying it at 60,000 really matter? Even at a $60,000 price point to $500,000 per Bitcoin, you are still 9xing your investment. So that's something you need to understand within yourself when you're choosing an investment. What is your price target? Where do you think this can actually go? And if you don't think this has that much potential, then you have to start considering what are some alternative investments and why you are actually invested in Bitcoin. Now, so far, I've only talked about the price, but obviously it's not just about the price. It also has to be about an idea. Investments are many things. There are sometimes ways to make money, but there are also ideas and there are also some things you believe in. So for me personally, the reason I'm invested in Bitcoin and the reason why it's so easy for me to hold it is because I believe in the idea of Bitcoin. I believed in a more decentralized financial system where the people are more in charge of the currency, where banks don't hold all of the money and the information. And I'm really butchering this explanation, but in short, if you don't understand anything I'm saying, I believe in the idea. So even if I don't make that much money from my Bitcoin investment, I am able and willing to hold it because I want to support the advancement of this idea. And the same applies to my Tesla investment. And I'm sure there are investments of yours that you believe in. Let's say you really believe in the cause of environmentalism. So maybe that's why you invest in certain EV companies, or you believe in protecting animals. So that's why you invest in certain vegan companies or certain food companies. So that's also something you have to consider, because at the end of the day, any investment, even your highest conviction investment, even if there's a 99.9% chance that you believe it will make money, there's a chance it won't. And you have to be able to sleep at night and be able to live with yourself, because you also have to remember that life isn't that long. It's fairly short. So you can make a bunch of money in the short term, but ultimately, if your money is going to some place you don't believe in, you have to ask yourself, is it actually worth it to make your life marginally better? And another thing you have to ask yourself is, are you able to really hold this thing? I think what I really want to talk about in this video, or the most important thing when you're investing, is not actually just to watch YouTube videos or follow the next meme stock. There's a place for that in investing. You can definitely make money in the short term, but to truly be a successful investor, I think you really just need to do deep research on a handful of companies, and that gives you the conviction to hold it. And that's really all That's all it really is. If you look at some of the greatest investors, the way they made so much money was not by day trading or flipping things or putting their money in a bunch of different places. It was just having the knowledge and the patience to hold certain investments for a very, very long time, especially when it dips or crashes. But obviously, that's where the knowledge comes in, because if you really understand a company and realize that it crashing is a result that something fundamentally about the company has changed, then maybe you should put out. But on the flip side, if you really understand a company and you see that the price going down, it doesn't really have a logical reason for it, then you can hold it. So that for me is what I feel about Tesla. Tesla at the moment is a very, very large, substantial part of my portfolio. It's been that way for almost 7-8 years now. And I'll admit, in the first couple of years, I didn't really understand it. I just got lucky in investing in it. But in the past 2 years, I've really done a lot of research onto it. And I was able to buy and hold when everybody else was telling me to sell. Now, the only reason I could do that was because of the time I spent investing into it. And also, luckily, it aligned with some of my values, some things I believe in, and I believe in an EV future. I think ultimately it still is better for the environment. So to me, it's the perfect investment. And the same thing applies to Bitcoin for me now. So Bitcoin, again, I'm going to admit it to you, I actually have been buying Bitcoin for a while, but the biggest investment I made was after it hit $50,000. Now, some people might say you should buy when others are fearful, and that is 100% correct. But at the same time, when everybody was jumping on the train, I thought it was the beginning of an uptrend, and that's not always bad too, because when you are buying into things, you want to have confirmation that it's actually going the direction you think. So I don't even hate myself that much, even though obviously, we all wish we could have bought Bitcoin at $5 or $10 or $20, or even at $20,000. It would have been a great buy point. For me, my conviction was fully formed after it hit 50,000. So I dropped more than $10,000. I'll just say that when it was in the high 50s. And then we all know what happened if you're invested in Bitcoin. It hit a high of 64,000, and then it dropped all the way down below 30,000. Now, if I was in year one of investing, that would have really broke me, or I probably would have paper handed out. Luckily for me, I started investing right out of college. I've been investing for 10 years. So it didn't faze me that much. I'm not going to lie, it really hurt. And I will always FOMO and think about what if I just bought it either earlier or after the crash. But at the same time, I could sleep fine, because ultimately, my belief, and I'm not a financial advisor, this is just my opinion, is I think Bitcoin has a lot of room to grow. I actually believe in the hundreds of $1,000 price point for Bitcoin. So when I put things in perspective, if I think Bitcoin will be $500,000 someday, hopefully within 10 years, then what does it really matter if I bought it at $60,000 or $50,000 or $40,000? Obviously, a $40,000 entry point is better, but I'm still going to 5 to 10x my money if my thesis holds to be true. So that's why I'm okay with what's happening right now. And for you, the newbie investor who's just jumping in right now, I would just slow down a bit, really do your research, because there are a lot of risks involved with cryptocurrency, and there are a lot of really good alternative investments. This is not the only thing that's going to blow up. I believe it's going to be a very big idea that's going to be a very big part of our financial future. But don't think that because others have gotten in before you that you're now too late to the party. Honestly, all those people that got in just a step before you, because they're rushing into it, I guarantee you that they don't really understand it. And when something drastic happens to the change in the Bitcoin price, they will be the first ones to paper hand out. So your advantage right now actually is your patience. It's your research, and it's your deeper understanding. That deeper understanding is going to allow you to hold the right investments for the right amount of time. And ultimately, you will profit a lot more and make a lot more money than the person that is just grabbing and investing and throwing their money in the next shiny thing. Because if you're investing in 15 to 20 different companies like that, everybody, no matter how smart, no matter how rich you are, only has 24 hours in a day. There is no way they can really deeply understand a company if they're spreading themselves so thin. So your advantage is your attention, is your focus, where you choose to learn something with more detail. And yeah, I hope that was helpful. This is Green Knight Trading, where I'm going to talk about investments, stocks, and actually the reason I've been away is because I've actually been building a small mining farm in my basement, and I'm really excited to share that with you. That's also a way I'm trying to diversify my investments more. My goal is to become truly financially independent in the next couple of years, and I'm making a couple of calculated bets. And if you want to follow that journey, please give me a like and subscribe, and I'll try to give you as much value as I can. Thank you all so much for watching. I appreciate you, and I'll see you soon.